Have you ever seen a giant just vanish? Not slowly fade away, but one day it's just gone. Today we're going to talk about a world of science and data that's changing at a speed that is, frankly, hard to wrap your head around. And it all starts with the story of a fallen titan. Okay, let's get into it.
For decades, if you were talking about data analytics, you were talking about one company, SAS. If you worked in finance and pharmaceuticals and public health, you didn't just use SAS, you've lived and breathed it. It was the bedrock, the undisputed king of the hill.
And I'm really not exaggerating here. Just look at this number, 97. That's how many of the top 100 Fortune 500 companies trusted SAS with their most critical asset, their data. This wasn't just some successful company. It was an absolute institution.
And we're not talking about some flash-in-the-pan startup. This was a global powerhouse, founded way back in 1976. They had 45 times straight years of profitability. A company that spent 3 decades building a massive presence in a market as important as China. And then, poof, on the last day of October 2025, it was just gone. No slow, painful decline. They just suddenly stopped operations and left the market. The reaction on social media was basically whiplash. So, what on earth happened?
The answer, really, is right here in this quote. The fall of this giant isn't just a business story. It's a huge red flag, a symptom of a much, much bigger shift happening all around us. It tells us that the very ground beneath our feet, the landscape of science and tech, is being redrawn at lightning speed.
See, to really get why a giant like SAS could fall, you have to look at the new frontiers it just wasn't built to explore. The questions scientists are asking today are on a completely different level. And one of the most incredible new worlds is the universe that's actually inside our own bodies.
So that's the big question, right? Where is science going? What are the new problems that need totally new ways of thinking? And, more importantly, totally new tools? Well, one answer comes from a field with a, let's say, complicated-sounding name, but the idea behind it is actually beautifully simple.
It's called spatial transcriptomics, but forget the name. The analogy is everything. Think of it like this. For the longest time, we could take a tiny piece of tissue, grind it up, and get a list of all the cells inside. It's useful, sure, but you have no idea where any of those cells were in relation to each other. It's just a list. This new science, it gives us the map. It's Google Maps for your body.
And having that map changes everything. Because before this, trying to find a tiny group of cells that might be the start of a disease, well, it was literally like searching for a needle in a haystack. You knew it was in there somewhere, but good luck actually finding it.
But now, with new methods like one called GSMAP, we don't just have a messy haystack. We have a map of the haystack. We can pinpoint the exact coordinates of those disease-related cells. This is a massive leap forward. It's the kind of thing that makes truly personalized medicine possible.
And what's so cool is that this kind of revolution, this radical new way of seeing things, it's not just happening in genomics. It's also completely changing how we understand something we all deal with every single day, our food.
So scientists had this really disturbing trend on their hands. Since the 1990s, early-onset cancers in adults, people under 50, have been steadily rising around the world. And since human genetics haven't changed that fast, the suspicions started to fall heavily on our environment and lifestyle, especially our diet.
For so long, we thought about food in these really simple buckets: protein, fat, carbs, that's it. But a recent article in the New England Journal of Medicine basically revealed that was like looking at the entire universe and only seeing 3 planets. It turns out there's a hidden chemical cosmos inside our food that we never knew existed.
Just take a second to process that number. Over 139,000. That's how many different bioactive molecules, what some people used to call nutritional dark matter, have been found in our daily diets. Every single one of them could be a tiny key that either promotes health or unlocks disease.
So what this discovery really does is it takes that ancient idea, food as medicine, and it pulls it out of the realm of folk wisdom and puts it right at the center of cutting-edge science. We are finally beginning to decode the language our food is speaking to our bodies.
Which brings us right back to where we started. To map our inner universe, to decode the language of food, scientists need a completely different set of tools than the ones that built the empires of the past.
And this slide right here just lays it all out perfectly. The old way, the SAS world, was all about expensive, proprietary, closed-off software. It was a black box. The new way, it's all about being open, collaborative, and accessible to everyone. And this isn't just about saving money on a license. It's a fundamental change in how science actually works. Science has to be transparent. It has to be reproducible, meaning anyone, anywhere can check your work and build on top of it. That's what open source tools like Python and R are designed for, from the ground up. And that's why they've become the new standard.
And it's not just one or two things, it's a whole ecosystem of these incredible tools. We're talking about things like the GitHub command line, which lets researchers share and manage their code without breaking their flow, or SoSource notebooks, which are amazing because they let one person clean up data in Python and another person on the same team do statistical modeling in R, all inside one project. You've got platforms like Overleaf for writing papers together in real time and shared standards so everyone's code is clean. It is all about working together and moving fast.
When you step back and look at the whole picture, what you see is this powerful feedback loop. The science gets more ambitious, which demands better, more flexible tools. And those new tools, in turn, let scientists ask questions they couldn't have even dreamed of asking a decade ago. The science and the tools are evolving together, hand in hand.
And that brings us full circle. The reason a giant like SAS could basically vanish from a major market wasn't because it suddenly became a bad company. It was because the world fundamentally changed around it. We went from analyzing business data and closed-off systems to mapping the human genome with open, collaborative tools.
So it all leaves you with one final fascinating question. If this is the pace of change we're seeing right now, driven by this new science and these new tools, what incredible discovery is just around the corner?